Before you quit your job to become a digital nomad, there's something that I'm going to tell you which these digital nomads and Instagram influencers won't, and it could save you thousands of dollars and months of frustration. Now, why should you trust and listen to me? Well, for most of you, it's probably the first time seeing me on your screen. So hello, my name is Bradley. I'm 26 now, but at 20 years old, back in 2018, when the world was quite a different place, I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. I left my mum's house in the UK, and throughout my 20s, I've spent more time abroad, mostly in Thailand, than I have in my home country, England. I've lived this digital nomad life. I build YouTube channels for a living. You know, I'm comfortable, I make good money, and I've learned a lot of lessons on the way. I've took many losses, I've had some great wins, and I'm going to share with you the truth of being a digital nomad and explain what these Instagram influencers won't tell you. Here's my YouTube channel, and here's my plaque for hitting 100,000 subscribers. This is for one of my YouTube channels that I run, and this is just proof really that I'm not a charlatan, proof that I do know what I'm talking about and that I actually do live this life. Next month I'm 27, so I've been living this life for nearly 7 years now, and I've just been doing some reflecting, and I thought I'd come on camera and share some info with you, just in a raw, like kind of one-on-one format, and just to give you some advice if you are partaking on this digital nomad journey, because I know now there are more people than ever making money online and they want to leave their home country. They want to leave, say, England, because of the cost of living, because of the landscape. A lot of people are leaving the West to go elsewhere. So I'm going to give you some practical advice if you want to be a digital nomad and if you want to travel the world while earning money online. So let's just have a look about what is shown online regarding the digital nomad life. So I'm on Instagram right now and I'm on just some digital nomad profile. No offense to these, but they do sell the digital nomad dream. You've got a beach, you've got a laptop on a beach watching the sunset, you've got the palm trees. If you go on Pinterest, look, you've got all of these cute artsy looking cafes where we can drink our oatmeal, we can drink our oat milk lattes, we can drink our matcha green tea, and we can get a little bit of work done. But the reality is, well, this is not the reality. The reality is, to actually make money online and to make this work, you need to choose a proven business model or have a remote job. And either of those you cannot do on a beach unless you're in the business of selling the dream of being a digital nomad. And that is what a lot of these digital nomads right here are doing. They're selling the dream of being a digital nomad. So I'm going to give it to you real, and I'm going to give you some pros and cons of this lifestyle, starting with the cons, then we'll get to the pros. And at the end of the video, I will give you an alternative way to actually live this lifestyle and still have all of the pros without the downsides of the lifestyle as well. Because there are quite a lot of downsides. Don't be fooled about what the media shows you. The grass is always greener on the other side. So the first con about being a digital nomad is you're always traveling. And hear me out here, because you're like, well, isn't that kind of the point? Well, yes, that is the point, but traveling is hard. Traveling is time consuming. Traveling requires a lot of planning. Traveling with your whole life on your back is even harder. And especially when you know that you need to make revenue to keep traveling, it is hard, right? It's not easy, and it's not some walk in the park thing that everyone can do. Now, the reason that traveling is considered a con is because you need to be planning your travels all the time. And if you're putting time into planning, into logistics, into, okay, what country should I go to? Where should I stay? What is the local language? What currency do I need? What's my tax situation in this country? How do I meet people? If you're always putting time and energy into those topics, you're not going to have much brain power left in the day to actually go, okay, now I'm going to focus on work. I truly believe to make money online and to actually grow an online business, you need to put like most of your waking day into this business in terms of like brain power. So if you're thinking a lot about, okay, what beach can I go and relax on? Where can I actually go next? What are the flight options? What language do they speak? Is it safe? If you're trying to solve all of these problems regarding traveling, you're not going to really be able to problem solve much in your business, and it will show in your revenue. You won't be making that much money because you'll just be focusing all of your time and energy into traveling. And while that may be good if you're in this traveling stage of your life, if you're new to being a digital nomad, then this is great because you get to travel and see the world. But eventually, if you don't focus on making money, then you are going to have to go back home and face the reality. So you need to balance these things and focus on your business first, in my opinion, because your business funds your lifestyle. So that's the first downside, and it's constant decision fatigue. Like, you're always going to have to be making decisions about where you're next going and all of the stuff that comes with that, with moving to a new country. On the plus side though, you will be able to see beautiful moments. On the plus side though, you will be able to see beautiful countries, you will be able to travel. But if you are working, you can't travel as much as these digital influencers actually make out. They can only travel because it's their job to sell you the dream of being a digital nomad. On the plus side though, you will be able to go and see these countries and you will be able to experience life in another country, but not to the point where every day you're going out and doing a new activity like these digital nomad influencers make it out to be. Because you've got to understand, their job as an influencer, as a digital nomad, marketer, YouTuber, an Instagram influencer, whatever, their job is to make their life look the best possible so they can sell you a course or a program, or they can sell advertising about this dream life of being a digital nomad. On top of like decision fatigue, you are also going to run into some hidden costs with being a digital nomad. And if you're always traveling all the time, it is going to get a bit old and a bit frustrating, and it is going to cost you a lot more money because you're going to have to rely on Airbnbs, you're going to have to rely on hotels or short-term accommodation, and there's a lot of costs that come with that. Like, you could stay in the same building as someone who's got a 12-month lease, for example, but you could be paying like 3 to 5 times the price just for the convenience of having a short-term accommodation. Like in somewhere like Thailand, if you book on Airbnb, it's significantly higher priced compared to if you booked a 12-month lease. So that's just something to think about. If you are planning on living this digital nomad lifestyle, yes, you can do it, but it might cost you a lot more than you're actually anticipating because flights aren't cheap, neither is accommodation, and especially if you're bouncing around all the time, yeah, it gets expensive quite quick. You can obviously lower your costs if you stay in a place for longer, which is actually what I would recommend, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, the last con, and in my opinion, this is the biggest con, and it's something that people struggle to deal with, so they go back home, and that is the loneliness and the relationship factor. If you're always bouncing around, believe me, I've dealt with this, if you're bouncing around all the time, going to this place, this country, this city, you're going to struggle making genuine connections and having genuine friends. You're going to be able to meet these people everywhere, but you're not going to be able to build genuine connections if you're always moving around and going to different places, because by the time you've actually made a connection with someone, it will be time to leave, and then you've got to say bye, and you've got to do this whole new thing of making friends all over again. So it does get old quite fast, but I guess that is the price you pay for living this lifestyle. So you can weigh up the pros and cons. Now, those are the cons. Let me tell you the pros, and then let me recommend you something and give you some genuine advice one-to-one if you really actually want to make this lifestyle work and if you really want to do this. So the pros of the lifestyle. Obviously, you get to see amazing, beautiful places when you're not working. Now, you can't obviously be working for the whole of the day. So when you're not working, you can go out, you can meet people, and you can live this amazing life, a life of freedom and a life where you can work on your own terms, especially if you pair digital nomadism with online business. And I think that is really the best route that you can go down. And that, in my opinion, is the best way that you can actually set up. It's to pair digital nomadism with online business. So ideally, you would register your online business in a tax-free or a jurisdiction with good tax laws, and then you can obviously travel the world and live this digital nomad lifestyle while focusing on your online business. The next pro obviously is the freedom, right? Like, if you don't like a place, providing you have like ideal funds, you can just move. Like, I've stayed in some hotels before and I'm like, this is just not the one. So I just book another hotel, I book another Airbnb, you write it off as a loss. It's just part of the parcel of actually living this life, and you just kind of move on. You can have complete freedom for your own day, and you can kind of structure it however you want. If you're traveling solo as well, you will have like freedom times 10, because you won't have to say to your girlfriend, oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Shall we do this? You can just kind of get up and go. And that in itself is priceless. Just having the option to be able to just get up, go and do whatever you want, whenever you want, especially when you pair this lifestyle with an online business where you set your own hours. It's powerful stuff. And yeah, you can't really change this lifestyle for anything else once you've done it, unless you do it wrong and you have a horrible experience and you experience these things that I've just mentioned at the start of the video. But if you actually listen to the advice I'm going to share with you right now, hopefully you can have a good time being a digital nomad. So the advice that I would give you, and this is genuine, right? You need to build an income stream, even if it's just a tiny income stream, before you come out and before you start your digital nomad journey. Some people are going to tell you, just send it on a one-way ticket with a little bit of savings and you'll figure it out. And you might figure it out, but for 90% of the people, you won't figure it out. And I'll tell you why you won't figure it out. You won't figure it out because you'll be dropped in a new country, in a foreign country, at a relatively young age for most of you. You'll have no idea of how the country works, you'll have no connections in the country, and you'll just be dropped in this country not knowing anyone or anything. And the first thing that you'll want to do is go out and experience this new country. And I don't blame you, like I really don't blame you, because that is exactly what I did when I first went to Thailand when I was 20. But luckily for me, I had a YouTube channel at the time, very small YouTube channel, but it was making me $3,000 a month. So I was making $3,000 a month at 20, and it was funding my lifestyle in Thailand. And I wasn't doing that much work. And this is why I would give you the advice of building something, even if it's just like a small Instagram page, or you've got like some following, or you've got some products that you can market when you go out there. You just got to build something like a small revenue stream, just something to confirm to yourself that you can do it, even if it's on a tiny scale, before you come out to Thailand. So that's just my advice. 10% of people might be able to make it work just by leaving their hometown and just posting up in Thailand. But it takes a very strong person to be able to do that. And anyone that's done that and done that well, I do commend, because it is hard to build something out here when you first come out here for the first time. If you're not going to do that though, I would highly recommend save 6 months expenses and just have enough in the bank just to know mentally that if everything goes wrong, if you need to get the next flight out of the country, you can do. You can just book it and you can go home. And just know that you can always return home and you can come back later. Like, you've only failed if in your head you've decided you've failed. Throughout my 7 years of coming to Thailand, I've been in and out of Thailand many times, and I've actually gone back home sometimes to rent a house for 6 months. Like, I've done that twice. So I've spent a year in England just kind of like relocking in, refiguring out my business, because I truly believe that you need to focus on business and online income before you go and make the move to be a digital nomad. Because without income, you're literally just traveling around the world. And you'll see this right now with a lot of these TikTokers and influencers that are young, especially British guys for some reason. There's a lot of British guys on TikTok kind of like trying to make it work, and all respect to them. But this life is hard and it's not for everyone. And a lot of people get homesick and go home. But you need to have some income or some like backing behind you before you go and full send it, in my opinion. The next bit of advice I would give you is to find a home base. Like, I was traveling around, I traveled throughout Thailand, Vietnam, I've been to Dubai, but my home base for a lot of the time that I spent abroad was actually in Chiang Mai. I had a 1-bedroom apartment in Chiang Mai, I've had a studio apartment, I've had a 3-bedroom house in Chiang Mai. I'm now in Bangkok, I'm now in a 1-bed apartment in Bangkok, and this is my home base right now. Next month, I'm 27, it's my birthday, I'm going to Samui. But because I've got my income set up, because I've got a business set up, now I've got my home base. I can go to Samui, I can go on these trips. For Songkran in Thailand, I'm going to Chiang Mai, I think. So I can go on these trips and I can take trips whenever I feel the need to travel but I always know that I've got my income, I've got my business, and I've got my home base in Bangkok that I can just lock in and get work done. And I think that's really powerful. And a lot of people, they miss home or they miss having a routine. And with a base, you can have that routine. You can go to the gym, you can eat healthy, you can have a community. And I really think you can get the best of both worlds by having a base. So it's just something to consider. But some people will go, oh, well, I can't afford it. And that's where I would go back to the, okay, well, then make money online and grow your online business before you come out to Thailand. So to wrap it up, the freedom that you are seeking is very possible. This life is real and I would not change it for the world. It actually gives me goosebumps just thinking about this life and just thinking that everything that I've ever achieved has all been made possible by running YouTube channels and making the leap. So I would say go for it. Make sure that you've got a plan. Make sure you've got a business that you can follow through on. Make sure that you don't treat it as a holiday and you actually get work done, and you'll be okay. Now, let me know in the comments section below what you thought about this video, and let me know where you are in your digital nomad journey. Are you watching in England? Are you watching from Thailand? Are you planning a trip? Have you already got some income online? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try my best to reply and give you some advice. Thank you for watching till the end. Make sure you do leave a like if it was valuable and subscribe to the channel.